Hello, friends, and welcome to part part three of our All That Jazz choreography for my Broadway style burlesque class on Wednesday nights at ChicagoDanceFactory.com. All right, so our part 3 choreography is going to have a lot of shimmies. So let's talk for a second about how to do a shimmy. So in order to create a shimmy, I'm going to bring my shoulders forward, back, rotating back and forth. Now as I do that a little bit faster, I have to make it smaller and get it going at full speed. I'm going to make those teeny tiny movements. So this takes a little bit of practice and a little bit of muscle control, but once you get the rhythm of it, it actually kind of falls into it pretty easy. So we can take those shimmies forward and back by hinging at the waist. We can rotate our bodies while we shimmy. The idea is to keep the upper body, other than the shoulders, nice and square and straight and calm. And then any movement we do happens from the waist down. So in order to keep those shimmies going, I can go side to side. I can turn myself in a circle. I just have to maintain this while all of my movement comes from my lower body. So let's jump into our choreography. So we ended our last piece by taking steps forward. So we're gonna have to take steps back to get back to where we started. So for that first bit, I'm gonna hinge forward at the waist and I'm gonna do flourishes, little wavy bits with my hands as I step back with teeny tiny little steps. So this is kind of a stylized movement, and it's a very cutesy, like, woo! But I'm doing my hands to the front. So do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do to get us back to where we started. And then we've got that lyric about the Sheba shimmy shakes. So I'm gonna shimmy as I rotate to the side. So notice I'm kind of bouncing up and down a little bit. I'm actually doing that with my ankles so that I can continue to turn while I'm absorbing that bounce with my knees and my ankles. So we've got the Sheba shimmy shake to the side. So now that I'm standing profile and my weight is on my right foot, so my left knee is popped, I'm gonna bring left hand to the hip. Right hand is gonna come to the brim of my imaginary hat. So imagine we have top hats now, and we're gonna lift those top hats up. So I've got, my fingers are closed on the brim of my hat, and then they're gonna open to show my top hat as I come up. And while I do this, I'm gonna point the toe. So I'm gonna bend, point for all that jazz. So wiggle, shimmy, hold, and point. So we just did pop, pop, and now on the O, I'm gonna bring this hand around and shimmy my fingers. So I've got my little jazz hands going on here. And in order to give that a little bit more dimension, I'm gonna bend and straighten so it's gonna follow the movement of my hand. So I'm gonna go down and up. So now I've got both arms above my head, and my hands are gonna go to fists so that I can go around. So I'm gonna collect this left foot in and shimmy till my garters break. I wanna be facing the front again. So I'm taking my hip circles, I'm doing my grind motion. My hands are gonna follow my hips around in a circle like that while I rotate. So I wanna use that hip coming around to kind of propel me around in a circle. I'm gonna be taking teeny tiny steps with my feet in order to reorient myself as I go around and around. So try that for a few seconds. Just go around and around. Do a couple of circles, see how that feels. Now that you got it, we'll add it into that choreography. So we just did all that jazz. Oh, we're gonna shimmy till our garters break. And now for all that jazz, I'm gonna step forward on the left while my hands come this way, forward on the right, so my hands switch and come that way. So I'm making like a window with my hands, and I'm going across my body. And feel free to make those leg movements nice and big. So I'm gonna lift my knee and step across, lift my knee and step across. So that looks like, and all that jazz. Here we go. Fists, around and left, right. All right, so for this next bit, you gotta listen to the lyrics here. I didn't choreograph it with counts, I used the words. So I just did forward, forward, so my weight is forward on my right foot. So as I do that O, or show, I think she's saying show. Show, I'm gonna roll this shoulder back as I push my weight back onto my left foot. So I'm gonna roll this shoulder back as I push my weight back onto my left foot. So I'm accomplishing that by straightening this right ankle to push backwards. So I'm gonna roll my shoulder and then take a few tiny steps back with the lyrics as I roll my shoulders the rest of the way. Weight is forward. We're gonna show me where to park my girdle. On this next O, I'm gonna bring my feet kind of within like hip width apart, bend my knees, and rotate to the side. So I'm keeping my weight on the balls of my feet. I'm kind of split weight here. I'm not all the way on one foot or the other because I'm swiveling. I'm gonna swivel back and forth this way. So my weight is mostly on my left, but there is a little bit of weight into my right foot. So I can use that to kind of help propel me this way. So as I go down and to the right, I'm gonna shimmy back to the left. Shimmies. Top hat. Down and around, fists. And windows. Shoulders. Down. And shimmy back. So now that we are in this bent knee stance facing to our left, I'm going to do these pops backwards. Now I'm doing this by bending and straightening my knees. So I need to keep the weight on the balls of my feet. So as my knees are forward, my heels are off the ground. All of the weight is on the balls of my feet. As I straighten the legs, I can let those heels come down to the floor. I want to keep my upper body pitched forward a little bit so that it creates this look. So I'm just keeping my right arm is gonna snap, snap, and then I'm gonna switch. So I'm gonna stand up, bring the weight to my left foot, and hip, hip. So this, I'm lifting my pelvis up, down, up, down. So this is less my legs and more my core, my midsection that's doing the work here. So I'm just gonna go up, down, and then snap my left hand along with that. All right, so we have pop, 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 and then we're gonna go up, down, for, and all. And now we've got those boom, boom, jazz. So I'm going to repeat what we did in the very first section and go pop to the side, out to the side. But now this time, instead of collecting my feet, I'm gonna leave my feet nice and wide, and I'm gonna do figure eights with my hip. So I don't wanna leave my hands out here because that doesn't look as good. I'm gonna take my hands behind my body to create a more streamlined silhouette, and I'm gonna do figure eights. So left, right, left, right. So from this angle, it looks like my legs are staying pretty straight, but you'll see if I turn to the side that I'm actually getting a pretty decent bend into my knees. because you can't do these figure eights or any kind of grinding movement or really any hip movement at all without allowing those knees to bend and straighten to accommodate that weight change. So I'm gonna keep, just because my knees are pointing forward, it kind of creates that illusion of my legs maintaining straightness the whole time. So I'm gonna do my figure eights. If you have a hard time alternating hips for the figure eights, then feel free to do one big swoop. So that is an acceptable modification. So we're either gonna go J-E-S, doing 2 full figure eights, or 1 big swoop and a second big swoop. So do whichever one is more comfortable for you. Side and pop, 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 up, down, bam, bam, figure eights. So that is our entire choreography for part 3. Let's put it all to music and see how it looks. Shimmies, top hats, hand comes around, fists, circles, windows, shoulders, down, shimmy to the other side and pop, 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 up, down, bam, bam, figure eights. And that's our part 3 choreography. Again, please check out our website, chicagodancefactory.com. See all of the awesome classes that we are hosting during this lockdown, absolutely free. So please, please, please check those out. Tell your friends, show up for them. And I'm gonna keep doing this Wednesday night at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. So please join me for the full-length, hour-long class where we teach all of our choreography, we do breakdowns, talk a little bit about technique. You'll love it. It's fun. So come join us. I'll see you there. Bye, guys.